reason to tell a lie.
There we go. We have done it. We're getting our way over to this little spire out here. I don't think it's going to add anything. Maybe it boosts the signal of some shit. If that's the case, it'd be well worth it. I think there's other radio stations everywhere. Maybe it's like the whole Enclave thing from Fallout 3. I have no fucking idea, to be honest. I've never done this before, but we're gonna do it anyways. Maybe it's just nothing. Yep. It's just nothing. Okay then.
So be sure it's true when you say
I
love you. It's a sin to tell a lie.
Be sure it's true when you say I love you, honey. Call. You got sense enough to know it's a sin.
What is Hapatia? The fuck?
Whole lot of folks hard is done.
I'm honestly kind of curious what Hapatia is. Because it's marked on our map and
Just
I haven't
a
been
whole
there
lot of
yet.
foolish words that's been spoken.
Is it over here?
I love you. Yes, I
Yes, it is. Okay.
I love
We shall find out what Hapatia is.
break my heart.
Divergent plan.
I'll die. So be sure it's when you
Oh,
say I love you.
whew.
To tell
I need to get some aid in me. Absolute. Oh, quick signs. That's nice. Low-fi meat.
Hey, it's Mr. New Vegas letting you know I've got a new Christmas compilation coming out soon. Nuclear Winter Wonderland. Look for it on holotape. Here are our top stories. Word out of Camp Golf is that many NCR Rangers can expect redeployment in the near
Years before the nuclear catastrophe, a handful of wealthy men and women grew increasingly worried by the political unrest across their countries. Moral panic, witch hunts, and censorship spread like wildfire. This congregation, scientists, professors, artists, felt the need for a place where history and culture could be preserved, safe from those who would destroy it for its seditious content. They pooled their resources in the hopes of creating such a place, free from the volatile swing of political agenda. A vault was to be built. Within it would be enclosed the most comprehensive collection of books and holotapes in history. The project owed much to the efforts of one Professor Cartwright, who at one time worked for a certain Robert Edwin House at the Robco Company, and used his position to secure valuable contracts within Voltec. As the construction of this library began, the intellectuals gathered their private collections, hunted tirelessly for rare texts to complete them. Cartwright would oversee this process and act as the library's caretaker. When it was time, all would gather for shelter, seal the doors behind them. None of them could predict, however, that the bombs would fall so early, and when they did, Cartwright was alone in the library. The professor knew that his days were numbered. To ensure that the library would not die with him, he spent his time reprogramming his robots. The machines would ensure that the library would persevere until the world could once again take advantage of its wisdom. He would endow them with the ability to think, the ability to choose, the ability to learn. Partly because he feared the dangers that might threaten the library in years to come. Partly because as the years grew long, He needed someone, something to soothe his solitude. 200 years have passed. Far enough time for something to go wrong. Today, the courier awakens the library from its long sleep.
Oh, this is the Autumn Leaves mod. I forgot about this one. Yes, I know what this one is. Oh, hell yes. Hell the fucking yes. I'm excited. Okay, we're gonna do this. Maintenance robot. That's kind of sad, not gonna lie.
Oh, is there somebody out there? What? A radio broadcast? So, there's still people out there fitted with a Pip-Boy, huh? Yes, we are. You're coming from a vault, aren't you? Well, I don't see why we should have this conversation through an intercom. Please, come inside. I fear I must ask you to come in alone, though. We have a strict policy when it comes to our maximum number of guests.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, I want to see if there's anything I want off him. No. Okay. I guess he's coming in with me. Who knows? Despite your presence, the machine gets in within his works if you weren't there. Looks like another Mr. Handy unit, particularly worn out, and some wires are hanging from his left side. Can you help me with something?
Please move along. If you have any questions, James on the first floor will be happy to answer.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this right. Greetings, I am James, Rapco Protectron Unit 13882, and personal assistant for Professor Cartwright. How may I help you? This is the library built by the Professor in the year 2072. It is one of the most extensive compilations of human knowledge in the world, provided other collections survive, of course. It serves several purposes, from educating the occasional visitor to helping the survivors, building an enlightened society, to remain a beacon of unaltered knowledge of a bygone era, and a safeguard. From historical revisionism, among others, the victor rewrites history. We need to ensure that the record of past events doesn't get scrapped because of fluctuating political contingencies. Exhaustivity. Each and every book in this place has been properly indexed and sealed in our database, dramatically reducing the risk that any part of mankind's heritage becomes lost. Of course, I'd be happy to answer. We received a fair share of guests in the past, but the last few years, not so much. It seems the Night Stalkers are roaming around, dissuading most travelers from exploring the area. Yes, we'll have to address this problem eventually. But not yet. Not as long as the war outside is raging, at least. First, we are programmed to stay inside and take care of this library. It's the way we're made. The second reason is, well, I can't explain it much further. Let's just say that for now we're playing it submarine style. I'd rather not. At least not for now. I'm all ears. Of course, you're welcome to use our facility. Feel free to ask Roland upstairs for a room in our living quarters. That said, you should know there are some general rules you must observe during your stay here. Treat the facility with respect. As long as your actions do not threaten our collection, no harm should come to you. This is how we are programmed. If at any moment one of us interprets your intentions as harmful to the library, you will be dealt with accordingly. A fixed set of rules means non-dynamic AI. Such design would prevent us from adequately identifying mid- and long-term threats to the library. We need to be able to identify the intentions of our guests based on our careful observations of their behavior, and then react in an appropriate manner. In short, we need to be able to adapt to our guests. Well, it probably sounds more impressive than it is, really. I'm sure Helena will be able to provide you with more satisfying explanations. She's upstairs on the north side. Incidentally, if you're in need of medical attention, she's the one you want to see. No need to tell you that the civilizing process has been going on outside for quite a while now. There are no doubt powerful factions that could get uncomfortable with the idea of unchecked, unfiltered, pre-war knowledge. We want to make sure we can prepare ourselves before one of them takes a sudden interest in regulating this place. We are designed to emulate human thought and have evolved enough to be capable of dynamic problem solving, not unlike humans' critical thinking. We still remain limited by our synthetic nature, but we are still capable of learning and simulating human reactions. Ah! I'm more than... Back when titles were still relevant, he was a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Chief Science Officer of ROPCO. His domain of expertise, as you surely guessed, artificial intelligence. A well-planned intersection of resources, contacts, and wealth. Of course, being in close relation with Vault-Tec's brass also played in his success. Correct. I'm not surprised he still is alive today. When our master told us about him, he was described as quite the resourceful individual. Yes, but I don't know the details. Our master wasn't very much inclined to talk about his former CEO, for some reason. Well, you should ask Roland for any kind of misplaced books, I fear. He usually loiters around in the lounge on the second floor. Machines, you mean? Quite a number, I must say. But I imagine you're asking how many of us are gifted with a personality module. A handful. There's me, Helena in the clinic upstairs, Roland in the lounge, and there's also Arthur in the computer room. Each of us has a specific responsibility. Helena has the final word when it comes to our guest's health. Roland takes care of logistics, and Arthur is our database. Everything in between or about the library in general falls upon me. Good preparation, I guess. We have enough resources to sustain ourselves. We produce our own energy, recycle most of our scrap. Our Mr. Handy units go outside and scavenge when needed, and keep both the facility and us Protectrons in top condition. Yeah. Besides reading, on the first level you'll find the movie theater, the reading room, the laundry, the borrowing service, and the computer room. Not that much on this one, except our database, Arthur, and he's not very responsive. On the second floor, there's a living quarters, the lounge where you'll find Roland, the cafeteria, Helena's infirmary, and the classroom. Why do we have a classroom? Don't hesitate to ask Roland for a room. Besides reading, Wait. Now that the rules and regulations are taken care of, can I ask you a question? I heard that the outside world is violent. Seeing you carry these weapons around, I assume you can take care of yourself out there. You already killed someone, didn't you? How did it feel? My entire existence has taken place in this library, and so I often have trouble relating to the outside world, the violence. You could say I only wish to understand it better, so I can understand our guest as well. That's what I think too. It's a sad event, no matter the circumstances. I'm glad you said that. You seem like a nice person. I will be expecting our next conversation. In the meantime, please make yourself comfortable in our library.
Well, that is certainly some lengthy dialogue. But, yeah. We got a library at our disposal to read up on and see what's around. I'll be sure to be going through here, maybe finding all the books, because I think there's like a collection of books you can get. Take a printing card. Let's see, because they do stand out amongst all the others. A bit more glossy. Why is that thing just floating there? Pre-war book. Let us see here. That's a Gek. What is this over here? Nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Nope. Not anything. Nope. Nada. Nothing here. The book describes the history of the otherwise unremarkable man of the Indignus Page, notoriously known for the spectator of a head injury and the poor man suffered during the Civil War. During the assault of 2 pieces of shrapnel pierced Page's forehead and logged themselves into the skull. Numerous accounts report the man regained consciousness after a few seconds. In the accident, the physician external reports subsequent blood loss and some cerebral matter. Despite the risks of worsening the conditions, the medic can operate despite the lack of the appropriate surgical tools. Page was expected to survive. During 3 months, Volgens, as they indicated, talked in his sleep, describing actual pain he felt, what was at great length explaining how he could possibly be alive. He would later report that in experiencing strange out-of-body experiences which would exploded directly to the castle. Against the medical practitioners, Page's wounds would eventually be healed and strong enough and come back home. Many of his close ones remarked of a dire change in behavior. Previously affable and well-thought, he could become rash and childlike and violent. Some months after his fits of anger and violence, he would explain couldn't express himself in any other way. He was aware he addicted and difference from before, and stressed out behavior felt perfectly natural to him at the time. He did not notice that people were expecting him to display the customary gentle nature, but simply did not understand why. Interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next video. I am Terra Cactus. We're going to thoroughly explore this whole place. But until then, Terra Cactus, and I'll be seeing you then.